Hey guys, Eric from Grimy Mid Sports Cards here, coming at you with another video. Today we're going to do something a little different. I know you guys have seen me do a ton of PSA reveals in the recent past here, the last couple months, and there are more to come of those. But today I wanted to do a little something different. I want to do today a video about my favorite baseball set of all times. My favorite baseball set of all times would be the 1940 play ball set. I absolutely love this set. I've been collecting cards out of this set for a number of years. They were only around for, as everybody knows, 1939, 1940, and 1941. They were also known as the R335 series. I just love this card. I have a bunch of 39 play balls as well. I have some 41 play balls as well. As we know, the 39 play balls were a little smaller, had bigger, closer up pictures, black and white of the guys. In 1940, the cards were a little bit bigger. They had that really difficult border on them. There was such a small border. They were always very, and still are very difficult to get centered. I do have a bunch of these cards. I only have about 10 of them to show you today, but they are a lot of my absolute favorites that I have in my collection. So, of course, 41, I'll throw that in there as well. 41, everybody knows, had the more bright colors, the Art Deco colors, and they were a little bit more of a cartoonish kind of picture. Those are very cool cards as well. But like I said, this set is near and dear to my heart. This is probably, I think without a doubt, my favorite set of all time. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into it here a little bit. I've got a ton of stats for you about this set. I'm going to adjust the camera just to show you a few of the cards in my set here, and we'll go over these and get that just a little bit bigger. We'll get these a little closer up of these a little bit later on, but I want you to have something to look at while I'm rolling through some stats and stuff about this set. As I said before, it was only around for 3 years. 39, 40, 41 was a 240 card set. It was the biggest set at its time. The only set that was around the same size was the 33 Gaudy set. However, 33 Gaudy had multiple cards of same players. This only had one card of each player, and at the time, of course, they're black and white. At the time, it was like the clearest photographs of the contemporary players. There were also there was one umpire that was thrown in, Dolly Stark. There was Al Schacht was in there, the Clown Prince of baseball. There was 20 Yankees in this set, 23 New York Giants in this set, but there were no Cubs in this set. The only Cub in this set was actually the coach, George Yulee. And it's kind of strange because the gentleman that was actually the photographer for this, his name was George Burke. And he was from Chicago, but no Chicago Cub players made it into this set. I just think that's really kind of funny. This was the largest set to come around, other than 33 Gaudy, since T206 set. 40 play ball had the stars of the day and past stars. It's much harder to find than the 39 or 41, but the prices of these cards don't necessarily always reflect that. If you find higher grades of these cards and they're well centered and they're not discolored from the acidity in the paper stock and stuff like that, oxidized, they can be very expensive. But overall, when it comes right down to it, these cards are very affordable to get in mid grades. So there were two series. There was a low series. As I said, there was 240 cards in the set. The low series was card number 1, which is Joltin Joe DiMaggio, up to card number 180. The second series was 181 to 240, and the backs on these cards had two different variations. They also had pretty extensive biographies on all of the players, including sometimes scouting reports saying that, you know, these players are going to go a long way in our game of baseball and can't wait to see if he makes it to the Hall of Fame. And they're just very, very cool. I just absolutely love these cards. So on the backs, there were two back variations. There was a regular promotional message that encouraged kids to endeavor to collect the entire set. And then there was the Superman gumback. And the Superman gumbacks are a little bit rarer. And I'm trying to remember right now, I believe the Superman gumbacks were only in the high series. As we get into some of my cards from my collection here, I'll be able to answer that a little bit more. I should have done just a tiny bit more research. As for value, you know, high-end value, you've got some big-name guys. As I said, the #1 card in the set is Joltin Joe DiMaggio. You also have a second-year Ted Williams card in here. And you have the last Shoeless Joe Jackson card, which is kind of interesting that Shoeless Joe was put in this set after he had been blackballed from baseball in 1919. So for whatever reason, they wanted to put him in there, and I think it's great, and I absolutely love that card. I've been looking to pick one up for many, many years and do not have one in my collection as of yet. They are probably the most expensive card in the set unless you go after a DiMaggio in a really high grade. Every player's name on all of these cards was displayed in a little name banner, and we'll get to that a little bit later as well. You may be able to see it a little bit down here, but you'll see it closer up when I get into some of the cards later. It's also very interesting who was and wasn't in this set. There's no Babe Ruth in this set. There's no Cy Young in this set. There's no Ty Cobb in this set. There's no Lou Gehrig in this set. There's no Rogers Hornsby in this set, to just name a few of the biggest of the big names, when you're including players that had already retired, and some of them had even already passed away, that you don't include those names. Chances are, my guess is that they probably just could not secure the rights to be able to add those guys to the series. But I don't really know for sure. I tried to do research on it and I could not come up with an answer, but that's just a guess. The other part of this set that I really love is the colorful nicknames. There are colorful nicknames for so many of the players. Like you have Walter Johnson, the Big Train. You have Twinkle Toes Selkirk, Hot Potato Hamlin, High Pockets Kelly, Hugh E.A. Jennings, which is hysterical. You had Dizzy Trout. You had the Wayner brothers, Big and Little Poison. And you had Spud Chandler, just to name a few. And these were all in quotations on the front of the cards. As a matter of fact, one of the ones you'll see that I have here, and we'll get to this one a little bit later on, one of my favorite pitchers of all time, the first Native American to be a pitcher in baseball, if I remember correctly, Chief Bender. And Chief is in quotations in there. These cards for the 1939 pennant winners, which were the New York Yankees and the Reds, they have over on the left side of the card, they have a little pennant on there that says 1939 pennant, which is also very cool. I didn't really put that on any other card that I can recall. So that's very cool as well. Also notable active players that aren't in this set, just a few of the names that I came across that I was like, wait a minute, those guys were playing at the time, but they were not in this set. Bob Feller is not in this set. Ernie Lombardi is not in this set. Lefty Grove, not in this set. Luke Appling, Enos Country Slaughter, just to name a few. So, I mean, it's very interesting how they put this set together, and I just can't say enough about this set, how much I just enjoy this set. I will continue to collect this one day. I hope to have an entire set There are a lot of cards in this set that are very, very difficult. They're just rare. And they're very difficult to come across them in any condition, let alone in, you know, any kind of a good grade, PSA or SGC wise. The last card in the set, the gentleman's name eludes me right now, but there's only like 6 or 8 examples of that card graded, period, by PSA. And I believe the highest grade is either a 5 or a 6. I think it's a 6. So you can't find anything. I mean, there are so few of them graded, and there are a bunch of cards in this series that are the exact same way. They're just very, very difficult to find nice ones, and very difficult to find, period. So for those of us that do enjoy collecting them, it can be a difficult task. It can take a really long time to come across nice cards that you really, really want to add to your collection of this set. Last thing I'm going to throw out here, or well, one of the last things, I'm going to just throw out some notable names that are in this series that you could possibly look for. Of course, Walter Johnson is in here, Johnny Evers is in here, Charlie Gehringer, the great Mo Berg, who was a World War II spy. On the back of his card, it's very, very cool. It calls him a globetrotter. It says that he speaks 8 languages, but of course says nothing about the fact that he was a spy for the United States, which is just fantastic. Just another piece of our history and of baseball history. Of course, Teddy Ballgame, Ted Williams is in this set, Hank Greenberg, Mel Ott, Carl Hubble, Honus Wagner, the great Christy Mathewson, Tris Speaker, Jimmy Fox, Napoleon Lajoie. Some of the bigger names, some of the lesser names that are in here, you've got Bill Dickey, you've got Lefty Gomez, you've got Dorr, Casey Stengel, Connie Mack, Wee Willie Keeler. And as I said earlier, you do have Al Schacht mixed in there, who is the Clown Prince of Baseball. And there is one umpire that made it into this set, and that is Dolly Stark. So that is a little bit of the background on this set and a little bit of why I love this set so much. Now I'm going to take these down. We'll get them back up there. But I'm going to take these down and we're going to get you some closer ups of my 1940 play ball collection. We're going to start it off here with the one I was talking about earlier. 1940 play ball, Chief Bender, PSA 5.5. I picked this card up many years ago. This has been in my collection for a long time. A little shot of the back. As you can see, there's quite an extensive little biography here, along with their full name, where they were born, the year, all of that, weight, height. Great stuff. So I'll put him back up there. Next, one of the best coaches of all time, John McGraw. And this is another one. I picked it up about the same time as the Chief Bender. So it's been in my collection. I would guess those have been in my collection at least 10 years, probably more like 15. They've been around for quite some time. And for my own personal collection, I have lots of stuff in my own personal collection, but I really try to get the nicest example of whatever I can find. So most of these cards are going to be well-centered for this issue. As you can see, we'll get a little closer here. I just remembered that. Get a little closer here. You see they've got the little glove, the ball, got a catcher's mask, another ball, bat across the bottom, and this is that little banner that I was talking about that I believe is unique to this set only. I don't think it was ever in another set, that at least not that I can remember. I could be wrong. But the great John McGraw, Hall of Fame coach. That guy up there. Next, Frank Home Run Baker. There's another one with the little nickname, Home Run Baker. PSA 6.5. I've had this card about 5 years or so. Always loved the fact that they called Frank Baker Home Run Baker. I believe if I remember right, I think the most home runs he ever had in an entire season was 12. But it's just it's just great because he was one of the guys back then. They didn't necessarily have the fences, so you had to hit it over somebody's head, and you had to be able to run in order to get a home run. And Home Run Baker, one of the first home run kings. Great stuff. Next we have the great Frank Chance. Husk. It's PSA 7. This is one of the highest grade ones. As a matter of fact, I think it is the highest grade one that I have in my collection. Just stunning registration on this card. Just absolutely love it. And of course, like I was saying earlier, with the card stock and stuff, it does oxidize. It does turn a little bit brown and stuff on you. But the centering on this card is really nice. It's off a little bit. But, I mean, this absolutely has 7 corners. This is a 7 all day. Just a great card. Next we have this, I believe, would be the first, pretty sure, the first 40 play ball card I ever picked up. Grover Cleveland Old Pete Alexander. PSA 6.5. Great card. Just a great picture. Just finished throwing, warming up before a game. You can see a little bit of the crowd in the background. Just a phenomenal card. Just absolutely love it. And of course, these cards, as you can see here on the back, made in Philadelphia by the Gum Incorporated, which later on was bought out by Bowman, and then it was Bologna Gum Company. So we've got those guys up there. I'm gonna rip these guys down real quick. Not rip. Take down these guys real quick so that we have room for the next round. Next, Napoleon Lajoie. Napoleon Lajoie, 6.5. Great card. Great picture. Love how he's got his hat on just a little bit sideways. Just another stunning registration from a card that's this old. Just love it. I picked this one up, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. So I don't have a whole lot of Lajoie cards. This was another one that I really wanted to add to the collection, so we picked him up. Next we're gonna go the great honus Wagner. Now this particular card in this set is a little bit of an anomaly because he was a past great player. He was not a current player. He was a coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates at the time. So it's kind of one of the only in-between cards where he's an all-time great, but he wasn't a player. And he wasn't deceased, as some of them were. And he was a coach. PSA 4.5. Great card. Next we have one of my absolute favorites. Here he is, the big train, Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson was the first pitcher in baseball to record 3,000 strikeouts. The next player to do it, anybody know? Well, I'll tell you. Bob Gibson, another one of my absolute favorite players of all time. Bob Gibson. It's a great card of the big train. Love those pants. We're down to the last couple here, and then we're going to call it a video. The Christian Gentleman, Christy Mathewson. PSA 6.5. Now, I had purchased a 6 of this card, I want to say, about 10 years ago. And they didn't package it very well, and somebody dropped something very heavy on it. When I opened it up out of the bubble mailer, the PSA case was cracked all the way straight down to about here on his cheek. It had scratched the card. It had actually torn the card just a little bit up on the top, and I was devastated. I had been wanting that particular card for so long, and I got a good deal on one, and then it got destroyed in shipping. So it took me 6 or 7 years to find another one that I was comfortable in picking up. And this is it right here. The Christian Gentleman, Christy Mathewson, PSA 6.5. Put him up there. And last but not least, folks, this would be the newest addition to my 40 play ball collection. I picked this up about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. #1 card in the set. Joltin DiMaggio, PSA 3.5. And as you can see, I had mentioned that earlier. There it is. New York Yankees 1939 pennant. Very cool that they added this for the pennant winners from 1939. A little shot of the back. The Yankee Clipper. Joltin' Joe. Just love it. So that does it for this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see everybody down there. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers. We really appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the videos. Keep collecting, folks. Keep collecting what you love.